Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse. Today, Friday, March 21st, 2025. Now, 2 trials came to an end yesterday here in the SDNY, and we'll do those first. The first one was U.S. versus Kevin Perez, K-Flock, drill rapper. It took 2 days of jury deliberation, and the question that the jury had, and they asked it twice, was, what is a reasonable person? This was in connection with the shooting death of Huáscar Hernandez on 151st and Amsterdam Avenue. He came out, Huáscar did, he came out of the barber shop, he put his hand into his coat, and next thing he was dead. Now the question was it reasonable for Kevin Perez K-Flock to feel that he was under threat? And apparently the jury agreed, because when the verdict was finally announced yesterday afternoon, he was convicted on the other charges. Count 2, though, he was not found not guilty, and there was a part of count 1 that was connected to the racketeering charges. Racketeering, yes, in connection with unemployment fraud, and in connection with 2 other shootings that they were non-deadly, but not in connection with that of Huáscar Hernandez. So people have been asking what online, what's happening next. 2 weeks after the verdict, which was yesterday, so in 13 days, due our post-trial motions. Those are ones in which his lawyer will say he should be acquitted. I don't know, for example, he might say because the racketeering wasn't shown, interstate effect on interstate commerce, he could do these motions are almost always filed. Often he'll get an extension to file them. And then in July, the sentencing, and 2 weeks before the defense will put in its memo asking for how long he should get. There's guidelines and there's minimums involved, so there's only so much discretion the judge will have. And I can't say that I think that Judge Lyman will be particularly solicitous of the defense request. And then the government put it in a week before, and then there's the sentencing, and we'll be covering it. Okay, so that's the long one, but there were things to explain. The other one was pretty much open and shut, so fast. The deliberations in the Iran murder for hire trial took, I don't know, between 2 and 3 hours, very little time. And there were a lot of charges, including money laundering charges, kind of complicated. So it seemed that it was totally open and shut. Convicted on all counts. Except that Amirov was only convicted of money laundering, not by concealment, but by promotion. Anyway, they were convicted quite quickly. The third trial, Javice, has now gone into hiatus. And the last thing that was said was that Javice has a subpoenaed witness that's threatening to leave town before testifying next week. And they wanted Judge Hellerstein to admonish them. And Judge Hellerstein said, hey, maybe we'll send the marshals. So there's that. What else can we say? What can we say and what will we say? In D.C., on a bigger picture, or at least on the D.C. picture, Judge Boasberg and the Trump administration, things are getting hot and heavy. Information requested, some information given, a standoff about state secrets. We're covering this one quite closely. Meanwhile, there's also going to be next week a D.C. Circuit argument in Circuit Court of Appeals. We'll have more on that and on D.C. next week. Finally, combining 2 things. As we speak, right now, and I think it's now not just for planning purposes, it's for real. New York City mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani is having an off-topic, any question goes press conference in front of Andrew Cuomo's home with quotation marks around it on Sutton Place, calling it a luxury residence. I would be there if I could, but I've got to cover stuff down here at the courthouse. But while on Sutton Place, we would suggest that Mamdani should check out another unaccountable sexual abuse supporting resident of Sutton Place, and that would be Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations. He's in a 4-story building, all of himself. Now, Cuomo's in an apartment that his daughter apparently used to live in. But Guterres is in a 4-story house on Sutton Place and 57th Street, just above 57th Street. A total wastrel, banning the press that asks about his finances, living in a mansion, pontificating about poverty nonetheless, and opposing any kind of budget cuts. Well, at least on the issue of censorship, there should be a reckoning. Litmus test 2025. If this is the last vlog of the week, have a good weekend. And to be continued, Inner City Press.